I wanted to point out that this is the up or inside of the completed stroke. This makes the full finish. I'm going to cut this off at ground level and cut this off at ground level so it goes with where the ground is going to be. And I put a little bit of blue clay in here because I will probably use some blue. This allows for the elbow joint to be sort of glued together, otherwise sometimes it'll crumble apart. And this is just a structural addition. Again, I'm choosing a color, a negative color, that keeps and supports the other shape colors I want to keep in a certain place. It's very critical at this little moment because this is where the elbow joint is hardest as it's lifting up out of the water for the first beginning part of the arm stroke. Later I may come in and put a little head of the swimmer, because the swimmer's head would actually be seen here. Of course it's attached to the shoulder, and this is roughly the shoulder line right there. So the head of the swimmer would be roughly along the path of this knife going this way. His head would be coming along there, and he would probably be turning his head to breathe and turning it back down on each stroke. But I wanted you to see the inside of this block as well as the outside, so you understood that it's been constructed. I probably will go back in and use a little extra blue to glue the hand, this hand to this forearm a little bit better as well, because as I cut through it, it may start to want to fall off. Again, clay is a delicate balance based on temperature between something very soft and something that actually sort of holds together. If you can keep the temperature somewhere between 65 and 75 degrees, or 60 degrees to 80 degrees even, as long as it's not much more than 80, it's fairly workable stuff. But even when you're putting knife pressure on it, any kind of pressure that's coming from your hand or from the knife, you need to go in and work construction glue, cement, if you will, that allows that piece to actually stay to the piece that it was intended. This blue, again, is intended to be a sort of negative color, so I'm just showing you how I'm gluing it back together to make sure that the animation shapes I've designed actually stay that way when the pressure of the knife comes down. When it comes down onto these separate parts and pieces that have been put together, you want to make sure that they have a little more than just their own surface tension touching each other. Obviously you can push clay together, I do that all the time, but you also want to add a little ribbon of soft clay between the two and then smear it together to make sure that it's all sturdy now. If I were to cut this one note and leave it open, when I'm cutting it, I would be holding it, when the camera isn't taking a photograph, I'd be taking a slice, I'd be holding up the flying, this is sort of like flying clay now, there's no support below it. I'll be putting my finger below it to make sure it holds up into the air until it's able to support itself again and doesn't need my assistance.